Get in here. It's the pod. It's the Pervcast. It is the most boring member of the Pervcast all by himself this evening. Yours truly, the OG in this room. OG means only guy, because Grant's not here. Pifty's not here. Hell, my family's not even in this establishment. So the reason that they're gone, they have great excuses. I would never trouble them for that. But Finzo, or Pifty, Mr. Producer Man, he's got a job with a lot of responsibilities that took him into the evening. And actually this entire week was full of responsibilities. So you know what? No Pifty tonight. We're bummed. It's all good. We'll manage, right? I'm thinking, all right, the two of us can do it. Well, Grant's wife is 9 months pregnant, and he gets a call from his wife probably about 45 minutes before record time, and she says, I think I might be going into labor, which, if you know what that means for a husband, is get the hell away from wherever you're at and get the hell to where she's at. That's what that means. Get there now. So he said, not only am I not coming to the podcast, I'm not finishing work. I'm leaving work, and I'm going there right now, fast as I can. So, no Grant, right? Not a big deal. We'll manage. The thing is, I'm sitting here all by myself in this room. It seems kind of lonely, but it seems kind of fun, too. You know, it seems like a new challenge. I'm excited to do it. I've been wanting to try new things, check out new challenges with the podcast. That's been the whole reason for doing it in the first place. It was a massive challenge that I did not know if I could do it. I didn't even know if I could get something published. But I started taking the steps and trying to learn it. And all along the way, I feel like it's made me a better person. And I have way more skills and all that. But it all started from going, I don't know if I can do this. Let me jump in head first. Tonight, we're jumping in head first. I miss Grant, my sidekick, right here with me. Miss him so bad. Wish him the best. To Mama, Baby, and the whole family. To Finzo, I wish you the best at work. Can't wait until this is your only work. It's gonna happen. I'm winking at you as if you're there, but you're not. And then, told OG, only guy in the room, let's have fun. We'll give it the best that we got. We do have massive, huge news that I'm not going to share right now because I don't want to do this without Grant and Finzo in the room because it doesn't feel right. Next week, we will share the massive news. It's so exciting. It's an answer to prayer, like from so much, because we love this podcast thing and we work really hard at it. And we've been hoping and praying that there'd be some cool opportunities come from it. And it looks like that has just happened. So I can't wait to share it with you guys next week. It's so sick. I'm so excited about it. I've had butterflies for 2 days. Like literally I am, spirit-wise, I'm blown up. I'm feeling good. I cannot wait to tell you guys and get some, reactions. And then, of course, all the trash talk, too. Doesn't matter what you put out, what it is, how happy or positive it is. You're like, oh, my gosh, my daughter brought me a flower, coming back from the playground. It was such a pretty flower. You'll literally have dudes on YouTube or TikTok that'll be like, oh, you like flowers? Dude, you're gay, man. Like, literally, you'll have these comments just every time. It doesn't matter what kind of product or product you're putting out or like what your message is every time, because there's dudes that are literally like living in their basement or their mom's basement, and then whenever they need to take a break from World of Warcraft because they've got carpal tunnel, or maybe it's time to like eat some cheese puffs and slam down a half-gallon of ice cream, they're like, oh gosh, well, what am I going to do in the meantime? I can't eat cheese puffs and eat ice cream while I'm trying to battle in World of Warcraft. What am I going to do? So they go, well, okay, I guess I'll just get on YouTube and see what's up. So they go through there and they like to communicate the most harsh feelings. And I think what it is, it's the feelings that they have for themselves is what I truly believe that is. I think that it is, they get on there and they see somebody else that's like putting out something that might not even be that cool, but it's something that somebody worked hard at and it's a hell of a lot better than anything they've put out. And so what they do is they get on there and they just talk mad shit. They just they blow it up, you know? And I think it's because that's just coming from their own heart. They're like, they won't say that to themselves in the mirror, you know, whenever they're like, well, what are we going to do today? Not go to work, not be productive. They can't tell themselves in the mirror in that moment, like, dude, you suck. You're a piece of garbage. Like, get it together, you know? So instead, they just go to YouTube or TikTok or whatever and blast those feelings out there, which is all fine and dandy. No big deal. It's up to them. That's their prerogative, right? Anyway, I'm sure that from this exciting news, there will be plenty of naysayers and whatnot, but I literally don't care. In fact, I find it funny. Naysayers drive me and crack me up. I think they're funny. I like to interact with them and be like, yo, thank you. This was the best thing anybody's ever said about us. You know, making them think that their like terrible comment was actually like a sweet thing. It's pretty fun because then like you never hear from them again. But it is cool. Can't wait to share the news. It's big. It's big for us. Like it's for what I thought we might be able to do with this to what this news is. Like it's pretty massive in my heart and in my mind anyway. Might not be to anyone else, but I think most of you guys, the demographic I believe that kind of follow us and watch us, I think it's going to be pretty big for you guys. I think you're going to be like, hell yeah, dude. So on the docket tonight, we're not doing any pick three because I don't have anybody to present pick three to or anybody to present pick three to me. So we're not going to do it. I'm not going to present it to myself and then pick them myself. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go a different route. I'm just going to tell you some thoughts that I had from today. A couple of them are pretty funny. Really, I guess everything's pretty much funny. I'll tell you the most recent one. This happened just a little while ago, okay? And this saga has actually been ongoing for several months now. I'd say dating back to 5 months. And I don't know what the onset was, but back to 5 months ago, you know, one day my wife calls me and she goes, hey, my keys are locked in my car. Can you come get me into the car? And I'm like, how the hell do your keys get locked in your car? The car won't lock if your key fob's in it. She's like, I don't know. It happened. So I'm working, fortunately, like kind of cruising by there at the moment. So I cruise by and I literally just hit the unlock button and roll out, you know? Well, she gets back in there. Yeah, sure enough, gets her keys. Well, this becomes a thing for about a couple months. It was happening every other week. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it started happening every week. I want to say 5 weeks in a row. She calls me from somewhere while I'm doing something and goes, hey, babe, we got to go. And my keys are locked in the car. And I'm like, how? If I push the button on my remote, it wouldn't lock if I wanted it to, you know what I mean? So I was like, I don't know. And I'm for the most part, pretty patient. So really, I'm laughing it off. I'm not like really getting pissed off about it. I think, you know, yeah, sure. I wish it wasn't happening. That's fine. But it's happening nonetheless. And then at a certain point, once you get to week 4, it's like nothing but laughable because you're going, how on earth is this happening? 1 day a week for 5 weeks, the keys that won't let the car lock are locked in the car. Like, how does that happen? The keys are in the car. The car won't lock if the keys are in the car, but somehow the car's locked. And you know, I'm stuck holding the bag because I got to get back. I've got to get those keys out of the damn car so that my wife and my daughters can go do what they need to do. So that's been the saga that's gone on forever. Like, you know, past few months. Like it's been ridiculous. You know, it's been funny. You know, we've laughed about it. My coworkers and I have laughed about it. It's been, you know, it's been a hoot. But the thing is, tonight we had a bit of the inverse of that, okay? So I'm sitting down to record this, and my wife and daughters are going to go run some errands. I put the girls in the car. I start the car. And my wife, after finishing something up, she gets in the car. I come inside to start doing a little bit of this action. And she gets down the road, not 92 minutes later, I get this text that says, I don't have a key fob in my car. So she is away. Her car is running, and we've had this happen once before. Whenever you drive a GMC, if you shut the car off and don't have a key fob, you cannot get it started. It doesn't matter if you have OnStar. It doesn't matter if you get Pop-A-Lock. Like, it does not matter. It's not starting without the key fob. We've had this happen, and it sucks ass. It is awful. We got like 35 minutes away from home having dinner one time, and key fobs at the house, both of them. That happened at night. Fortunately, as soon as she turned the button off to shut the car goes, no key fob detected, press brake, push start button. So she immediately, good on her, props to you, babe. Good job. Good on you. She hit the button, car starts back up. Not a big deal, not a huge concern, right? But it's hilarious because what we were dealing with was keys in the car and the car is locked. Now we're dealing with car gone, car on the move, car not present, and keys locked at home. It's like, I don't understand, man. Hey, lady brains are something else, okay? They're precious, they're beautiful, they're awesome, and I love them. But lady brains are something else. Like, how on earth do we get to that point? What the deuce? That is crazy, you know? But all's well. She got back. She got the key fob. They are out on their errands. And here we are, me by myself in the Pervcast studios. You know, if things keep going the same way that they are, this studio might not be the Pervcast studio. The studio might be named after a brand that you know and love. Not going to say yes, not going to say no, don't know for sure, but I think it's out there, and we're working hard to get there too. We're also working hard to make the best thing that we can for you guys. Grant, also not only his wife and their family, because they're thinking that baby might be like right here real soon around the corner. He also told me that as his wife called him to say, yo, I think I might be going into this whole baby having process, our dog got hit too. So their puppy Sparhawk got hit by a car on the farm road where they live. And you know, I guess broke his legs, beat up a little bit. So that's sad, you know. That's like, should be a happy day. Here comes a precious new baby into the world, and then like this, you know, this goofy little dog runs out and does something stupid, you know, which we've all done whenever a beautiful thing is happening. We all go do something stupid. I know I've been guilty of that on multiple occasions. So wrapping up the keys in the car, I think you guys know what's up. It's like, yo, how can you air that bad on both far extremes of this issue? Not a big deal. We're good. All's well. You know, all's well that ends with laughing, and we laughed. You know, so it's cool. I was just gonna throw out a couple stories from our lives growing up. For those of you guys that don't know, obviously Grant and I are brothers. He's, I don't know, 6, 7 years older than me, something like that. We are 2 of 9 siblings, all from the same mom and dad. And we were homeschooled our whole lives. So like our whole education was homeschooling from our mom, from our dad who was a trained educator, our mom who was a nurse. They were very, very smart. Very, you know, intelligent people that I hope, you know, did a good job with, you know, 8 of the 9. But that's kind of our backstory. 2 of 9 brothers, you know, close, love hanging out, all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of things that came from, there were a lot of fun stories. You know, sometimes I listen to podcasts or I listen to like radio or somebody that's talking and they're telling stories from their time at school. Right. So they're telling these stories that, you know, they might be like, oh my gosh, there was this one time that like I got kicked out of PE because I farted too loud on the basketball floor and just kept doing it. And so then the PE teacher like kicked me out and I got I got sent to suspension for staining the floor or whatever, Like I hear these all the time. And, for a while I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, I guess I just can't contribute to these school stories because we were homeschooled. However, we absolutely can, because then it dawned on me. I'm like, oh no, we had school, we had class, 5 days a week. We had class, each of us had our own class with our teachers, our mom and our dad. And then we had collective classes, at the dining room table where we all learned from mom or dad. And there was a lot of crazy things that came from that. I had completely forgotten about. One of the things that I was thinking about today, I heard somebody telling a joke about farting, which farting's funny. I don't care who you are. Farting is funny. It's hilarious. It always has been, and it always will be. Like, dude, farting is the shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good time. For men, it's always funny. Now, my little girls, they love it. 4.5 and 2.5, dude, they are all about farting. In fact, I've actually got to work with them so that sometimes they don't, we're not hanging out in public and they're like, hey, Dad, ha, nice toot. They'll do that action all the time, which in my heart of hearts, I think is hilarious. But I understand that the people eating at Applebee's don't want to hear little moist, wet mouths making moist, wet fart noises while they're trying to sit there and eat their, 3-for-1, eat all you can of shrimp, chicken legs, and or chicken tenders and whatever the else. Like, I realize they don't want to do that. So I try to be considerate and go, yo, let's kill it. But it's funny. It's always funny. Back in the day, whenever I was a kid, I was probably, I don't know, maybe 6th, 7th grade probably. And every day, there were at that time, there were 5 of us that were sitting around the table, and we were having class time with my mom, and we did it daily. It was, looking back, it was beautiful, it was awesome, it was cool. But one of the things was, I obviously at that point in 5th or 6th grade thought that farting was hilarious. And I thought the louder the better, the stinkier the better, and the more disruptive, absolutely the better. This is way more worth it if I can absolutely clear the room and end whatever task we are currently trying to work on. And so that was my goal. I would sometimes push harder than I should have, endangering my own rectum and cap or veins in my forehead just to get my desired result. I thought it was funny. My sisters thought it was funny too. I was surrounded by 3 sisters. They thought it was funny too, but for the sake of protecting their own image to mom, they would, have wipe the smile off and be like, Mom, that's gross. And I'm like, I just saw you smiling. You were laughing. What the hell are you talking about? That's gross. Don't laugh and then turn me in. Not that I needed turned in, because obviously I just made this insane, wretched sound. And then ensuing is the wretched smell. But my mom told me, and she was very proper, cleanly, that sort of thing. She was like, she would always tell us that is uncouth. So burping and farting, in fact, we didn't even call it farting. We called it passing gas, because saying farting was uncouth. So we said passing gas and belching. Well, she had told us, she said, if you guys are going to sit here in class, if you need to pass gas, go to the other room and do it where nobody can hear or smell, because that is considerate and that is polite. So for a while I fought it, right? I'd just kind of hold it and wait so that I didn't waste anything good that somebody else could hear or smell. Kind of held it. Sometimes I'd walk to the other room and, rip one and come back disappointed that I was the only one that was there for it. Kind of like this podcast right now. However, I started to get wise to it a little bit, and I got to think one day, I was like, okay, so mom wants my undivided attention. What if I am here? She wants me here for class. What if I am just not here very much? You know, I bet that we have a little bit of a change in opinion about this whole farting thing. So what I started doing was, just like I always did whenever I had to toot, I jumped up and I walked to the other room and I tooted. So I come back, no big deal. Class is still going on. Not really, didn't interrupt too much. I sit back down and I, kind of look back down on my book, look back up at my mom, and then I stand up again and go walk to the other room. Had a little fart this time, just a little bit, not too much, And I think this is actually when the plan dawned on me. I came back again and I sat down, and then the third time, I had maybe something that's not even considered a fart. It was probably a residual bubble that was just kind of trapped in the, that just kind of stuck there that really just decided to pop. But it was enough that I went, oh my gosh, I've got an idea. So even though at this point I don't need to do anything, digestively, I stand up, walk to the other room. This is the third time in about, I don't know, maybe 4 minutes. By this time, I can see my mom kind of giving me the eyebrow. She'd look at you with this eyebrow like, I'm on to you, something's going on. I came back and sat down, got up again, probably 45 seconds later, walked to the other room. Came back, sat down. Got up again, walked to the other room. And every time I go in there, I'm literally just laughing now. I'm not doing anything. I'm going and I'm going. Like trying to keep it to where nobody can hear at all that I'm laughing. Well, finally, I would say and my mom's not dumb. So I'd say the fifth time, she goes, okay, Ethan, what is going on? And by this time, I can see in her face that she is fighting back the laughs. She is trying her best to be serious with everything that she's got in her. She's like, Ethan Purvis. I don't even remember what she said at that point. But that was such a win for me to see my mom, my teacher, who had very strict standards for how she wanted her classroom to go, and the behavior therein. Like that for me, that was awesome that I broke her in that moment, and it was so cool because then from that point on, it felt like farts were on the table. Like we could cut cheese, we could rip one, and you'd get that look from my mom that was like I know I'm supposed to be mad at you because this is a violation of policy, and this is not how this is supposed to go. But truthfully, in my mind, my heart of hearts, I know that's funny, and I can't fight it any longer. She's also got to be thinking that sting up you pulled on me where you jumped up 5 times in a row in the span of 5 minutes or less and went to the other room to be couth. I know that she's going, I can't beat that. That's genius. Looking back, that's such a fond memory, which is just absolutely, I was laughing about it today while I was thinking about it. It's so hilarious, The other thing that I was going to think of, and I just thought of this now, and everything is just reminiscing. This is just story time, okay? Because it's just me, and I'm not going to dive into the news. I don't have a live screen moving right now, so I can't really give you great information and stats and things of that nature. So I'm just rolling with story time. We're going to pick up on the tails of what we were just talking about a second ago with the homeschool stories, right? Sorry for the break. Whenever I'm all by myself, there's a lot of production stuff that I got to stop and do midway. I'm missing Finzo bad, missing Grant bad, so I got to be a little more careful with some things, but here we are. Jumping back to the story, okay? So that was a story about being homeschooled and having class with my mom. Well, here's another story about being homeschooled and having class with my mom. And this was something that got me into pretty bad trouble, okay? Let me tell you a little something about the relationship with my wife and I, okay? We met whenever we were 15. She was a cheerleader. I was a football player. It was kind of like the most cliche, ridiculous, like dumb shit you'd see on A&E for not dumb, and not shit, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, dude, all right, this is what like the writer of Twilight would put down if she or he was writing a book about, football. I get it. But that's where we were at. That was us, right? That's how we met. She cheered, I played football. And at the time that we met, we were 15. We're in our 30s now, and we've been married for 11 years. But at the time, 15. And, and she was allowed to have a boyfriend. Not a big deal, right? For her household and her family, she wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. For me, I was not allowed to have a girlfriend. I wasn't allowed to date. And, at the time, it enraged me. I did not like that rule. Now, I must say, at this point now, as a dad, I get that rule. I understand. Like, yeah, I'm with you. No dating, not until you're 30, I get it now. Then I didn't. And I was not inclined to go along with that requirement either. So what I did was I did not go along with that requirement. I met Ashley, my wife, like I told you, on the football team. We started hanging out, and I had to do a lot of things sneakily. I'd hang out with my buddies. We'd go bowling with my buddies, and it was at times my buddies and Ashley, but a lot of times it was just the two of us. So I did a little deceitful work there, a little bit of lying, which, I'm not proud of and don't feel good about. Hindsight, I feel like it's a little justified because of where we're at now, but at the time, still not the right thing to do, But one thing that happened was her family had an extra cell phone that they didn't use. It was some line that nobody needed. So I kind of got the bright idea one time. I was like, babe, and a caveat to that is I wasn't allowed to have a cell phone. I didn't have one. And at that point, this is like, dude, this is happening where everybody around my age has got a cell phone. And I'm a loser because I don't have one. Whenever I need to call my parents or something, like I need to borrow a phone. Whenever I want to text my girlfriend, I need to borrow a phone. Whenever I need to call my girlfriend, I need to borrow a phone, right? Well, there's a remedy for that whenever your girlfriend's family has an extra phone and you go, yo, what if I just just for tonight so we could keep talking, just for tonight, what if I took it home and, we could text a little bit, And the response was, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Here you go. So now all of a sudden, I've got a secret phone. I'm in my parents' house, living in my parents' house for months and months on end, right, with this secret phone that they don't know about. I have to plug it in and charge it late at night, stay awake while it charges so that nobody can walk in and see it plugged in. So I have to watch it for however long, get it charged up, then I can pull it apart and go back to its stashed hiding place where nobody knows about it. I went to the bathroom all the time back then. I was very, very regular of pooping about once an hour because I was going in to check the phone, right? Couldn't pull it out in public, not in the household. Certainly not around any of my sisters because, look, I love my sisters, but look, you talk about snitches. They would rat me out in a heartbeat. There's no doubt about it. Love you, Susanna, Charity, Melody. I do. But y'all know, you'd be like, hey, this guy, he's up to something. So this phone, it was great because it kept Ashley and I in touch. We got to visit all the time and we had it was crazy. It was an adrenaline thing, certainly, because it was sneaky as hell. And my parents, if they found out, would be pissed. And boy, were they pissed when they found out, right? We were having class one day, and this particular day, we weren't in the dining room. We were in the living room, and I was sitting in this rocking chair. I loved this old rocking chair. It was a glider that had like a matching gliding footrest, right? So you just glide like this, and oh my goodness, mom was being cool that day. She was like, yeah, you can sit in the glider, let's have class. Which it wasn't a good idea for me to sit there because it made me sleepy. I got way too comfortable. But she said, yeah, you can sit there. So I'd sat in the glider, and I'm sitting there hanging out, just like trying to learn and listen a little bit. And I have my phone sitting right here in my pocket. And I was always very diligent for these months and months about tucking the phone up and keeping it on the inside of your thigh so that gravity was feeding it down towards the peen instead of down towards the pain in my instance. Well, this day I got to rock, and I guess I was feeling the glider, and I'm wearing pants, kind of just athletic pants, that aren't going to have any kind of hold or form for anything. And the daggum phone goes shoop, slides out, and it goes onto the ground. Hardwood floor, cell phone falls out of my pocket. All my sisters are sitting there, not all of them, 3 of them, sitting there looking at me, and Mom just stops and goes, "What is that?" And dumbass me was like, "Oh, I don't know. Oh, it must have just fallen out of this chair. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's weird. I'll get it though. I'll pick it up and I'll take care of it. I'll throw it away." My mom's smarter than that. She goes, "Nope, let me see it." So she gets it, and anyway, at that point, then she opens it up, starts to go through text messages, and sees that, the contact there is my girlfriend that I am not supposed to have, not supposed to be hanging out with. However, there she is. We're texting. Gosh, we were probably saying some nasty little bit of stuff too, because you know how dumb kids are, and we were kids. Who knows what might have been there? I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, I've probably scrubbed that from my mind because it was pretty damn traumatic. Because here I am hiding successfully this phone that I'm not supposed to have, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, busted in front of my 3 sisters, who at that moment wanted nothing more than to see my demise. I truly believe. They loved me, but they wanted my demise. It happened right in front of their faces. It was insane. It was crazy. It was like, damn, that's sad, to see a run come to an end like that. Such a nice, successful, sneaky run of getting to talk to my girlfriend late at night and send text messages and say, "I love you so much," which turned out to be true, right? We're still married. We're still in love. It's awesome. But I got to say, I'm totally double standard on that, because at that point, and I got to say, that's the exception. That's about the only time that I've ever heard of where a couple of 15-year-olds were not supposed to be dating. And if you have this experience, let me know. Comment, say something. I'd love to hear. But a couple of 15-year-olds that really weren't supposed to be dating or in a relationship, and then they forced it. They were like, "No, we're sending it. We're doing this damn thing." So they do that, and then next thing you know, like, dude, flash forward 16 years later, and they're married and have 2 children. Like, that's not the norm. The norm is, you get your heart broke at 15 or 16 or 17 or whatever, and, one of those people ends up to be a massive, like, absolute piece of trash that falls off the deep end, and the other one ends up, making a successful life for themselves. But because of that damaging relationship back when they were 16, they're never the same, and they kind of just don't have their whole heart and soul available for the person that they land up with and the person that they end up with, which is sad, and that's too bad. That's usually how it goes, right? It's not usually happy ending. This was, but my double standard is I get that this went right for us. and it worked out. Part of that was I was so hard-headed that this was going to be my wife that it was like, all right, at one point I got grounded for 3 months and had to quit my job for hanging out with her. Whatever, not a big deal. But I was hard-headed. That's what I was going to do. I was hell-bent. So that's what ended up happening. However, I do not think that, I am absolutely adamant that 15-year-olds do not need to have boyfriends and girlfriends. It's just how I feel. I'm sure it's because I'm a dad to 2 little girls. I guarantee you that's what it is. I have such an adverse feeling to that idea that I absolutely hats off, salute my parents for grounding me and for all the trouble that I got in, for all this insane manipulation and just wildness. I get it. I understand it. Coincidentally, they were right and I was right simultaneously at the same time, which is what simultaneously means. So now I'm being redundant and saying the exact same thing that I just said in a different way and saying it all over again, which is also being redundant. The last thing we're going to jump to real quick. This is like I said, this is story time, right? This is story time. This is just me and you. I'm fired up. I'm jacked up on some sweet news, right? That I was teasing you guys earlier. We'll get to next week. I'm jazzed for it. Also, want to let you know next week, Grant's not going to be here for a couple weeks. All right. So Grant's getting a couple weeks off, with baby. We want baby and daddy and mama and daddy and the whole family to get to bond and just have time to focus on, being a family unit. Okay. So he won't be in for a couple weeks. And for that, I'm sorry. I know we all love Grant, but we do have some other cool stuff lined up, right? We've got some guests lined up is what we're going to do. Okay. And we're going to work on this. I'm going to try something new. I want to try a bit of a new type of format. Okay. What we're going to call it Q&E. All right. So play on Q&A. It's Q&E. And I've teased this before. I've talked about it, but we're going to try to actually move forward with this and give it a go. At least once every 2 weeks, something like that. But essentially it's going to be me sitting down with a professional from some field, an interesting person, a specialist from some field, or just an intriguing personality, something like that. And I want to sit down, and one thing that I've been wanting to do is I've been wanting to work on my ability to interview people, and I truthfully have no experience. So I will be flying by the seat of my pants with no knowledge. But we're going to sit down. I want to try this. So next week, we're going to kick that off. It's going to be Q&E. It's going to be more like, honestly, Theo Vaughn's a total inspiration for that kind of format where he sits down with a professional that maybe your average person doesn't just think about every day, but they turn out to be fascinating. That's kind of that's kind of the inspiration behind this. That's what we're going to do. Start next week. We're going to do that for a couple weeks while Grant's out. And then if it goes well and if people like it, then we're going to keep it going. And then it's also one of those things, if you know somebody interesting, if you know somebody from an interesting field, if you know a unique person that you think would be a good contributor, please put us in touch with them, because we are compiling a list of quality, intriguing guests to sit down and do Q&E, to go into the format where I'll kind of interview them. I'll start out with probably a couple structured questions, and then from there, it's just going to be me feeding off of them and learning, what they want to talk about, and going from there. So, bit of a change the next few weeks. No Grant. Pifty will be back next week. Q&E start next week. And our guest next week is going to be, it's actually my oldest brother, Andrew Purvis. I couldn't think of a better guest to have, partially for the announcement that I have next week. That's the fitting guest. That's who we had to have. I've talked to him for a long time about coming on too. He's stoked for it. So that's going to be next week. And I guarantee you it'll be good. He's lived quite the insane life. So, buckle in. It'll be awesome. Here's the thing. Let's move on to the end here, okay? We are almost done, and I'm just going to finish one last story. It's just another entertaining, dumb story, which is those are always the best. I get this video. Well, no, actually, let's back up several months. Probably 6 or 8 months back. I'm walking through the house, and this is shortly after my oldest daughter learned to, she got potty trained, right? So she says, I got to go potty. And we're like, yeah, send it. Go. You got this. So she runs in, gets into the bathroom, and, we're proud of her. She's doing her business. She's doing it just like she should. Sits down, goes potty and everything, and don't think anything of it too much, because usually I'm just waiting for the, hey, daddy, can I have some help? And then go take care of it. But this time I hear screaming. And then I hear these little footsteps flying out of the bathroom and across a hardwood hall, just booking it as fast as they can, screaming the whole way. And I naturally, I'm like, oh no, oh my gosh, what is going on? What's going on? Is you okay? You okay? I go running in there, and about the time that I get, by the edge of the living room, getting ready to go through the hall, I see into the bathroom, there is a stream of water shooting up out of the toilet and absolutely blasting the wall on the other side of the room. So it dawns on me what happened. My oldest daughter, while going potty, decided that she wanted to hit the bidet button, turn that thing on, take it for a ride. Well, I don't think it was very fun, because she came flying off of there like crazy, flew off of there. And as I walk in, literally that water is hitting the ceiling like 8 feet high, like way over my head. And the whole time, while I go in to shut it off and turn the water off, the water's splashing off of the wall onto the back of my head, my neck, and just absolutely soaking me. Anyway, it's funny, right? It's hilarious. And I thought at that moment, she's going to learn her lesson for a little bit, but this isn't the last time this happens. I know this isn't the last time. So sure enough, I get a video yesterday. 2 days ago. Yesterday. My bad. Today's Tuesday. Get a video yesterday from my wife, and the camera's the way it starts out is the camera's kind of moving around like this, and you're like, oh, you can't really make out what's happening except for, there's running happening. Running is happening with the phone on and recording and in a hand, and then you can start to make out there's the archway door frame right there. Oh, that's the hall. There's the bathroom, and she's just flying, booking it, moving it towards there. And then you get into where the only frame is just the bathroom. And once again, there's the toilet with a stream of water shooting up and hitting the ceiling, or hitting the wall at about 8 feet high. My wife is dying laughing, just losing it. And at this point in the video watching it, I'm dying laughing, losing it. And I'm reminiscing and thinking about the last time that it happened, And you hear commotion back behind her. She's like, just screams and panics and things. Well, then she, in the video she sent me, she recorded the whole thing, so good on her. But she went up and shut the bidet off, right? And she's laughing. And oh my gosh, what happened? And she turns around and walks back out of the bathroom, back through the hall and into the living room. And there stands my oldest daughter being the culprit that, turned the knob, made it happen. And she is sitting there with the most horrified look on her face while her hair is... I don't even know how her hair's wet. She must have gotten soaked when she climbed off the toilet, because her hair is just sopping wet. And she has water just running and dripping down her face. coming from the bidet. So I don't know how, I mean, who knows? I don't know. Maybe she turned it on while she was turned around, like checking her turd to see how it was, and then she just blasted herself in the face. That might be how it happened. That's why she was soaking wet. I don't know. Didn't see that part of it. But I do know it's hilarious. Bidets have brought about a lot of entertainment. I've blasted myself 3 times in the face with bidets because I was down like cleaning the toilet or trying to work on the bidet, and instead of hitting the knob to change the nozzle direction, I hit the knob to turn the water on, and it was just like, psh, bam, right in the kisser. I mean, 3 times that's happened. But, I feel like an idiot every time. There's no doubt about it. But hey, guys, thanks for hanging in this week. Sorry it's a little different. I hope it was fun. I hope it was entertaining. I had a lot of fun doing it, certainly. Wasn't sure if I could. But, I was hoping that I'd get in here and kind of get on a roll and have some stuff to talk about. And I feel like I did. Now I really have to pee. I'm sorry that we weren't educational, didn't inform you guys of a whole lot, but I hope that it tickled your fancy for a little spot of entertainment. Next week, can't wait to share this awesome information with you guys. And, I hope it keeps going well. I know that every time that you guys interact with us online, whether it be a comment, a like, a share, every bit of that helps to extend the opportunities that we are getting and that we can get, which only expands the opportunities for us to put out more and better stuff, because that's what we want to do all the time. I want to get better. I want to learn this. I am learning. I've told a couple people I'm in college right now. I am learning. I'm not good at this. I don't know yet, but I want to be. So I'm giving it, I'm giving it an effort. But when you guys interact with us, you like, you comment, share, it opens doors. It truly does. Like we do this because it's a passion and it's fun and we love doing it. But it can become a lot more for the listeners and the cast, whenever we get get some feedback and some shares. So hey, thanks for checking out Pervcast this week. Be back next week. Things are going to look different for a couple weeks. I think they're going to look pretty cool, pretty fun. And good luck, Grant. On baby. Love you. Pray all is well. Finzo, hope all is well this week. Love you. And love you guys. Peace.